fourth graders. Welcome to Book a Day. Today's story is a cute one. Lenny and Lucy. Let's look at our vocabulary word of the day. Today's vocabulary word is dense. Repeat, dense. It's an adjective, a describing word. It means thick, solid, or heavy. Like a cloud so thick, you need a knife to cut through it. I've never done that before. Let's start our reading. Lenny and Lucy. Wow, I love the illustrations already on this front page. You can tell that they're in a forest. Look at all of those trees. The forest was dense with trees. Winding along a bumpy road through the dark, unfriendly woods, Peter said, "I think this is a terrible idea." And when they'd finally left the woods and stood safely on the other side of the wooden bridge, Peter said, "This house is not as good as our old house. I want to go back." But no one heard it except for Harold, who was only a dog and couldn't do much about it, even though he wanted to. Harold was a good dog. At night, Peter and Harold looked from the upstairs window past the wooden bridge and out to the dark woods. Terrible things hid in the trees. Neither Peter nor Harold slept at all. So the next day, Peter made a tall pile of pillows, and after they'd toppled the pile 6 times, Peter ran inside to find just the right blankets. He stitched and sewed and wrapped the pile up, tying it shut with string. He pushed and pulled and kneaded the wrapped up pillows like dough. And when he was done, he named it Lenny, guardian of the bridge. Oh my goodness, that is so creative. Look at what he created out of pillows and blankets. "Lenny will guard the bridge," said Peter, "and keep the dark woods on the other side where they belong." Harold wagged his tail. Peter and Harold watched from the upstairs window. They felt safe knowing that Lenny was there. He guarded the bridge, silently, patiently, but with no one to keep him company. "Do you think Lenny's lonely?" asked Peter. Then they worried about Lenny and his loneliness. Uh-oh, the problem is Lenny's lonely. What could a potential solution be? And no one slept at all. Wait a minute, let me go back. "Do you think Lenny's lonely?" asked Peter. Then they worried about Lenny and his loneliness. And no one slept at all. Wait, we can make an inference. What do you think happened? Where do you think they went? What do you think is going to happen next? So the next day, Peter brought breakfast to Lenny, toast and jam and a glass of milk. Then Peter gathered all the leaves on the ground and made a tall pile. And after they leapt into the pile 7 times, Peter ran inside to find just the right blankets. He pushed and pulled and kneaded the wrapped up leaves like dough. Has anyone else noticed some repetition in this book? You know, when the author repeats certain words or phrases. I'm seeing some. When he was done, he named her Lucy, and Lucy was a good friend to Lenny. Everyone slept, and the dark woods stayed on the other side of the bridge, where they belonged. The next day, Peter, Harold, Lenny, and Lucy played a game of marbles. Harold was champion, everyone agreed. For lunch, they ate vegetable soup, and after soup, Peter began a collection of rocks. The others sat a while, watching the woods and wondering about the things they couldn't see. Have you ever seen an owl? Asked Millie. Millie lived next door. She had binoculars that everyone could share, and a bag of marshmallows too. Let's look at this word binocular. Do you see how it begins with bi? B-I means two. Why would binoculars, how does that connect to the number 2? What do you think? Binoculars, 2. No, said Peter. I have never seen an owl. Harold hadn't either. Oh, look at something's happening over here. So Peter, Harold, Lenny, Lucy, and Millie sat together, watching out for interesting things. Harold chased a squirrel or two. And all the while, even after the lights were out, the dark woods stayed on the other side of the bridge, where they belonged. Oh! Fourth graders, let's go back to our vocabulary word. Dense. It's an adjective, a descriptive word. It means thick, solid, or heavy. Like a cloud so thick, you need a knife to cut through it. How does the word dense connect to our story today? Can you use it in a sentence? I think I can. The woods around Lenny's house were dense with trees. Thanks for joining me for Book a Day. See you soon.